Describe how you first met.
It was in Colombia.
Bogota, 5 years ago.
6.
Angelina Jolie filed for divorce from Brad Pitt in September 2016, and that was the exact moment everything changed for the kids. According to Angelina Jolie's later court filings, something happened on a private jet flying the whole family from France to Los Angeles, and she walked out within days. She told investigators that Brad had been drinking heavily and got physically dominant with her. And when one of the kids stepped in, he allegedly went after the child, too. Brad has always denied every part of it. Both the FBI and Child Services investigated and closed everything by November 2016 with no charges filed. But here's the thing. No charges does not mean nothing happened. It just means no case got filed. From that moment on, Angelina had full physical custody of all 6 kids, and Brad was on the outside looking in. Angelina Jolie quietly held primary custody of the kids for almost the entire 8-year divorce. And Brad Pitt spent that whole time trying to win his way back in. In 2021, a private judge named John Oderkirk finally gave Brad a 50-50 custody win. Big moment for him. Then, Angelina's lawyers got the entire ruling thrown out because they proved Oderkirk had failed to disclose business ties to Brad's legal team. After that, no new judge ever ruled on custody again. Like, literally never. The case just went dormant until the divorce finalized on December 31st, 2024. By that point, every kid except the twins Knox and Vivian was already an adult. Angelina basically ran out the clock. Brad's team called the disqualification a technical procedural issue, but the timing was everything. 8 years of Angelina being the parent who showed up. Brad missed it all. Angelina Jolie's people have always insisted she never told the kids to hate their dad. They just chose her on their own. According to sources close to Angelina, she actually encouraged the kids to keep in touch with Brad's parents, and they reportedly send cards and gifts to his side of the family every year.
I didn't know if I'd ever be a mother, be a good mother. I was nervous. When I was younger, I thought, oh God, I couldn't be somebody's mother.
She said in a 2021 interview that she just wanted my family to heal, and added, "We'll always be a family." Sounds peaceful. But here's the part that's interesting. Multiple sources close to Brad have publicly claimed Angelina ran a deliberate campaign of alienation against him. One former family security guard even filed a sworn declaration in 2024 saying Angelina actively discouraged the kids from spending time with Brad. Angelina's lawyers shut that down fast. So which version is real? Honestly, probably both contain pieces of the truth, and the kids are stuck in the middle. Brad Pitt's 6 kids have been quietly cutting his last name off their own names for years now. Shiloh legally filed to drop Pitt on her 18th birthday in May 2024, using her own lawyer and her own money. Her attorney called it an independent and significant decision following painful events. Vivian started going by just Vivian Jolie while volunteering with Angelina on her Broadway musical The Outsiders. And Zahara introduced herself as Zahara Marley Jolie at her sorority initiation at Spelman College in 2023.
Zahara Marley Jolie.
That's 3 out of 6 kids publicly distancing themselves. Maddox has reportedly been on Team Angelina since the plane incident and works on Angelina's film projects. Pax allegedly posted a brutal 2020 Father's Day note calling Brad a world-class a-hole. Whether Angelina pushed all this or the kids chose it themselves, the pattern is undeniable. They're cutting ties one by one. Brad Pitt has reportedly spent years trying to reach out to his kids, and nothing has worked. Sources close to him say he sent Maddox a 21st birthday gift with a heartfelt note in 2022. No reply. He has reportedly never said anything publicly negative about Angelina, even with all the alienation accusations swirling. In a 2024 interview, he downplayed the finalized divorce, saying it wasn't that major of a thing. Sources say he has tried several efforts to reconnect with the older kids over the years, and it has caused him a lot of heartbreak. Whether you believe Brad is the victim of a calculated alienation campaign or the kids are reacting to genuine pain from what they witnessed, the outcome is the same. 6 kids, 1 absent dad. He keeps showing up at premieres with girlfriend Inez de Ramon, smiling for cameras, while the people he raised barely speak to him. Angelina Jolie technically won this entire divorce, and the receipts are everywhere. The kids legally chose her name. The custody battle ran out the clock until they all became adults. The Miraval Winery lawsuit Brad filed against her is still active, with trial set for February 2027, But a judge already ruled in May 2026 that Angelina doesn't have to hand over 22 disputed emails Brad's team wanted. Her lawyer literally called it a complete win, saying Brad is getting nothing. Zero. She has also put her Los Feliz home up for sale for nearly $30 million and is planning to move away from LA entirely now that the kids are grown. Did Angelina deliberately turn the kids against Brad? No court has ever ruled that. Was she the parent who showed up every single day for 8 years while Brad was beefing with court motions? That part is documented and undeniable. The plane incident in September 2016 didn't just end Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's marriage. It changed how the kids saw their dad forever. According to Angelina's court filings, the family was flying from France to LA when Brad allegedly drank heavily, became aggressive with her, and when one of the kids tried to step in, he allegedly went after that child too. Angelina claimed in a 2022 cross complaint that Brad choked one of the children and struck another in the face, and that some of the children pleaded with Pitt to stop. Brad has denied every single allegation, and no charges were ever filed. But here's the thing, kids don't forget moments like that. Whatever actually happened in that 11-hour flight, the older kids saw it, and they reportedly never looked at Brad the same way again. That was the original fracture.
How about your dad? Is he going to come and visit? Do you want him to come and visit?
I don't know about that. What's happening?
No, you don't know.
Maddox Pitt, the oldest at 24, has been the most publicly estranged from Brad Pitt out of all 6 kids. Maddox was reportedly on the plane that September day in 2016, and sources say he was the child who allegedly tried to step in during the incident. Since then, he has worked closely with Angelina on her film projects, including Maria and Without Blood, dropped Pitt from his name in professional credits, and reportedly has not spoken to Brad in years. When asked by In Touch back in 2019 if Brad would visit him at college, Maddox gave the coldest possible answer. Well, whatever happens, happens. Sources close to Brad say he sent Maddox a 21st birthday gift in 2022 with a heartfelt note. No reply. Whatever bond they had, it shattered on that flight, and time has not healed any of it. Angelina Jolie has put her huge Los Feliz home up for sale for nearly $30 million and is planning to leave LA entirely now that the kids are grown. A source told People that Angelina never wanted to live in LA full-time. Her exact words? She didn't have a choice because of the custody arrangement with Brad. Translation, she spent 8 years stuck in a city she didn't even want to be in, just to stay close to her kids during the custody fight. Now that the divorce is finally over and the kids are basically all adults, she's done. She also recently starred in her new film Katura, plans to focus on her humanitarian work, and reportedly wants a fresh start away from Hollywood. Brad, meanwhile, is still in LA, still filming back-to-back movies, still very publicly dating Inesta Ramon. They couldn't be on more opposite paths.
Brad Pitt and his kids have, to put it mildly, complicated relationships.
Brad Pitt's kids are seriously done with him. Let me give you the deets on the whole thing. The arguments that arose between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie in the run-up to their divorce included their kids.
Jolie filed for divorce in September 2016, asking for sole custody of their 6 kids.
The children of the ex-couple garnered media attention for a variety of reasons, including criticizing Pitt on social media and removing his last name from the Jolie-Pitt surname. According to people close to Pitt, he was saddened when Shiloh Jolie Pitt, the couple's first biological daughter, chose to renounce her father's last name. But instead of winning over people to his cause, Brad Pitt received harsh criticism. This has everything to do with his reaction to Shiloh's choice and the status of his other children's relationship. News of Brad Pitt's response surfaced a week after Shiloh Jolie Pitt made the decision to drop her father's last name.
Brad Pitt's daughter Shiloh is reportedly changing her name.
The father of 6 was apparently very unhappy and knew of his daughter's wish, as disclosed to People by an insider. He's aware and upset that Shiloh dropped his last name. He's never felt more joy than when she was born. He always wanted a daughter. They said that while the actor was content with his relationship with Inesta Ramon, he suffered from being apart from his kids. The reminders that he's lost his children is, of course, not easy for Brad. He loves his children and misses them. It's very sad.
It's very important to me.
Social media users did not take long long to share their opinions regarding that message though. With his statement, Brad Pitt seems to have disregarded his first daughter, Zahara Jolie Pitt, and they did not take it well. Someone wrote on X, "Mind you, he already had a daughter before she was born." Another fan said, "Shouldn't his PR team at least pretend he cares about his adopted kids as well? It's like he forgot about his first daughter." And a third one mentioned, Zahara was already around when Shiloh was born. So the statement "he always wanted a daughter" about Shiloh is rancid and pretty cruel. On turning 18, Shiloh Jolie Pitt allegedly petitioned to have her father's last name removed.
Shiloh officially requested to drop Pitt from her last name.
According to reports, the young adult petitioned the Los Angeles County Superior Court to have Pitt removed from her full name. It was unexpected because she had previously been in the news due to rumors that after she reached 18, she intended to move in with Brad Pitt. Shiloh, whose full name was Shiloh Nouvelle Jolie Pitt, attempted to have it changed to Shiloh Nouvelle Jolie, per the filing paperwork. When Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's kid filed for a name change, the Daily Mail claims that she hired and paid for her own attorney. According to insiders, Shiloh decided to quit using her father's last name on her own. Shiloh hired her own lawyer and paid for it herself, so Angie doesn't know and can't speak for it. The insider said. The source also mentioned, "But if you're asking if this is connected to the history he has or the violation of Shiloh's victims' rights, yes, that's part of it." Although Shiloh Jolie Pitt is the third child of the marriage, she was born as the first biological child of the stars. Maddox Siobhan Jolie Pitt was adopted by Angelina Jolie in 2002 from an orphanage in Cambodia. Jolie is also rumored to have kept her kids from seeing Pitt. Although she adopted the then one-year-old on her own, she was married to Billy Bob Thornton at the time. 3 years after adopting her kid, Jolie and Brad Pitt began dating. In the same year that she and Brad Pitt began dating, Angelina moved to adopt her second child. When Angelina Jolie and Maddox met Zahara Jolie Pitt, they were on a trip to Ethiopia. In the end, she and Pitt went back to Africa together to adopt the young child. In 2006, Pitt and Jolie welcomed Shiloh into the world. Prior to their tumultuous 2019 divorce, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie had a disdainful relationship that involved their kids. Their 2016 breakup created a bag of worms that portrayed Pitt negatively. The couple was granted shared custody after their divorce, but the decision was subsequently overturned. Maddox and Pax were the only Jolie Pitt children who did not reside with their mothers because they were adults already. Brad Pitt's kids drifted away from him over time. It became apparent over time that some of his children had cut their relationship with him. It's important to remember that at one point his relationship with Shiloh seemed to be going well. Zahara didn't seem to disclose her father's identity when she joined the Spelman College sorority Alpha Kappa Kappa prior to Shiloh revealing it. In a social media video, the child identified herself as Zahara Marley Jolie. Vivienne, Brad Pitt's youngest daughter, produced the playbill for the musical The Outsiders, thereby going the same route. Her name was stated as Vivienne Jolie, according to reports. Their mother had a similar incident when she was a small child. Because of their difficult father-daughter dynamic, Marceline Bertrand and John Voight's daughter Angelina Jolie renounced her father's last name. This momentous step has its roots in the long-standing problems with the Jolie Pitt family. As was previously known, Brad Pitt had a history of not great things prior to the dissolution of his marriage to Angelina Jolie. An FBI report from 2022 said that Pitt had an altercation with his ex-wife while on a flight to California. There are also reports that he approached some of the kids during the altercation. But the LAPD would later exonerate him of any misconduct. The father of 6 continued to be under public scrutiny when his son, Pax, sent him a scathing Father's Day message on Instagram. The young adult insinuated that Brad Pitt was intimidating because the children tremble with fear in his presence. According to a close friend of Brad's, he was excited about mending his relationship with his estranged children in 2022. It was said that Brad Pitt found the co-parenting arrangement difficult because he occasionally couldn't spend extended periods of time with his kids.
We find our time. We carve out mommy daddy time.
Since making her debut as a child all the way back in 1982 and starting her career in 1993.
This is so hard because I'm such an honest person, and it's so hard for me to do these kind of things because the answer is I probably take things off.
Her divorce from Brad Pitt got finalized. After a jaw-dropping 8 years, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie have officially called it quits.
After 8 years, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt have finally settled their bitter divorce,
signing on the dotted line to finalize their divorce on December 30th, 2024. Remember way back when the Maria star filed to end their 2-year marriage?
Jolie claimed Pitt was abusive to her and their children during the 2-year marriage.
Well, according to Angelina's lawyer, James Simon, this concludes just one part of a long, ongoing process. Angelina and the kids packed their bags and left all the properties they shared with Brad ages ago, aiming to find some long overdue tranquility.
At stake was how to split their reported $520 million fortune. Most assets will be divided according to the prenup.
Frankly, Angelina is exhausted, her lawyer adds, but she's relieved to finally see some closure. Meanwhile, a friend close to Angie spills that she doesn't trash talk Pitt publicly or privately. She's been working overtime to keep things positive, and you can't blame her after such a bumpy road. With this drama now behind her, all eyes are on Angie's next move, because if there's one thing we know about Miss Jolie, she always keeps us guessing. She once wore a part of Billy Bob Thornton in a vial. One of the most jaw-dropping anecdotes from Jolie's past involved those infamous necklaces she and Billy Bob Thornton wore, each containing the other's ichor. It was the ultimate Hollywood oddity. Some said it was super romantic, others called it downright bizarre. Back in the early 2000s, tabloids had a field day reporting on how Jolie and Thornton were essentially advertising their love in the most gothic way possible. Although Jolie later insisted that they'd only done a quick finger prick, the media turned it into a vampire-level spectacle. Even today, people recall this as one of her most rebellious moments, defining an era when Jolie's personal life was as edgy as any role she played on screen. Thornton, for his part, has reminisced in interviews that the whole thing got way more attention than they intended. Evidently, they thought it was a sweet gesture, but the press latched onto it like it was proof Angelina and Billy were out to redefine romance. If social media had been in its full glory back then, can you imagine the frenzy? #VampGoals would have probably been trending for weeks. So she actually took flying lessons and got a pilot's license. While many stars splurge on private jets, Angelina decided to pilot one herself. She developed a fascination with aviation in the early 2000s, partly because her father, John Voight, had a serious fear of flying. In typical Angelina fashion, she flipped her father's phobia on its head by diving into flight school, earning her pilot's license around 2004, and people in their inner circle whispered that this was classic Angelina. She sees a challenge and she conquers it. Today, Angelina sometimes soars above Los Angeles in a single-engine Cirrus SR22, occasionally bringing her children along for the ride. The press has snapped photos of her seated comfortably in the cockpit, head-on, looking every bit the adventurer she is. With an already busy schedule raising kids, acting, directing, and championing various humanitarian causes, you'd think flying lessons wouldn't fit in. But for someone as relentless as Angelina, it's just another Monday. She toyed around with being a funeral director. Before red carpets and Oscars, she considered a career that would have put her on a starkly different path. Funeral services. Yep, you read that right. In interviews, she revealed that as a teenager, she was troubled by how impersonal and cold funerals often felt. She thought she could make them more compassionate, more tailored to the family's needs. While it sounds like a morbid pastime, it fits her well-known fascination with all things unconventional. Had she followed through, we might have seen a sultry Angelina's funeral home in Los Angeles. Imagine the tabloid headlines. Family, friends, and fans see this on The Tidbit as one more example of how far outside the Hollywood norm Angelina has always operated. She's never been content to follow anyone else's script, so the notion of her reimagining funerals isn't that shocking. She's had a roller coaster relationship with John Voight. Her complicated rapport with her father, John Voight, spans decades and is played out in the public eye. The two famously butted heads when Voight went on TV claiming his daughter had problems. Jolie was enraged, and soon the pair had little to no contact. At one point, they dropped each other's last names. Jolie legally ditched Voight, and he didn't hesitate to distance himself from her either. As time passed, they made tentative steps toward reconciliation. John has attended events with Angelina, praising her humanitarian efforts, and she mentioned him more openly in interviews. Though they seem to have arrived at a place of civility, rumors swirl that their relationship remains fragile. For someone as fiercely independent as Angelina, forging a better bond with Voight likely required plenty of introspection and maybe a fresh perspective on forgiveness. She's a devoted humanitarian on a global scale. Although many celebrities dabble in charity, Angelina's approach to humanitarian work is deeply hands-on. She began collaborating with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in 2001, visiting refugee camps in war-torn regions. Insiders at the time doubted her intentions, dismissing it as a phase. But Angelina proved the naysayers wrong by becoming a goodwill ambassador and later a special envoy, passionately advocating for displaced families. She's traveled to countries like Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan, often without a big entourage, trying to grasp the complexities of each humanitarian crisis. Angelina's philanthropic resume includes founding the Maddox Jolie Pitt Foundation in Cambodia to support education and conservation projects. Colleagues say she takes her role seriously, frequently discussing policy changes with officials behind closed doors. And while skeptics once questioned her motives, these days even harsh critics concede her efforts to go well beyond photo ops. Another not-so-secret aspect of Angelina's persona is her love of tattoos. People know she sports the Latin quote on her lower abdomen and the coordinates of her children's birthplace on her upper arm, but few realize she has a sprawling collection. Each tattoo has a story. There's a Buddhist prayer on her back that she got in Cambodia, the Bengal tiger that covers much of her lower back, and the infamous dragon that she's since modified. Angelina has spoken about how each tattoo marks a stage in her life. Some are tributes to her children, others nod to the places she's traveled or meaningful quotes. Friends say she's selective about artists, often flying them in from overseas, though she occasionally removes ink that no longer resonates, like the Billy Bob reference post-divorce. She's never let Hollywood norms about clean skin dictate her body art. In fact, she seems to relish standing apart in an industry that often prizes conformity. Jolie's charitable streak extends beyond on-the-ground activism. Word has it that when she starred in the 2010 action thriller Salt, she donated a whopping 1/3 of her salary to various humanitarian causes. Although precise numbers remain hush-hush, insiders leaked that Jolie felt it was her only fair to share the wealth because she's been so well compensated. Over the years, she's offered financial support to everything from children's hospitals to educational initiatives in underprivileged communities. She doesn't typically blast it from the rooftops, preferring a lower key approach. Still, fans and industry watchers alike keep tabs on her philanthropic footprint, pointing to that hefty Salt donation as her commitment to meaningful giving. Her first big directing project was set in Bosnia during a tough time. Critics praised her ambition, although the film's themes polarized audiences. She went on to direct Unbroken, the saga of Olympian hero Louis Zamperini. By all accounts, Jolie poured her heart into capturing the hardships in that story. Angelina's relationship with Tinseltown remains something of a love-hate affair. On one hand, she scooped up an Oscar and starred in mega hits like Maleficent. She's been an A-lister since her early 20s, and there's no denying her box office draw. On the other hand, she's openly critiqued at the industry's obsession with appearances and fame, often choosing indie or humanitarian-focused projects over standard Hollywood fare. Friends say she'd rather immerse herself in activism or direct a passion project than churn out big-budget roles for paychecks alone. She's also fiercely protective of her private life, at least as much as one can be under the paparazzi spotlight, and rarely bows to pressure from studios to be more accessible. In a way, her entire career has been a balancing act between reaping the rewards of movie stardom and challenging the status quo. It's exactly this tension that keeps fans enthralled, wondering what unexpected move she'll make next. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt finally settled their divorce.
After 8 years, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt have finally settled their bitter divorce.
After millions of dollars, a lot of tears, a whole lot of turmoil, they're finally finished with it. This divorce took a messy 8 years to get through. When Angelina and Brad Pitt got together after their movie, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I felt so bad for Jennifer Aniston. And I was a fan of all three of them. I loved Brad Pitt, I loved Angelina, I loved Jennifer Aniston. But it was so messy, and the fact that Jennifer Aniston had to deal with that in the public eye, it must have been heartbreaking. Meanwhile, and I say this with love because I do love Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie was literally taking her problem away. Now Angelina and none of his kids want to talk to him. Everyone thinks he's a bad guy right now, and Jennifer Aniston kind of rose from the ashes like a phoenix. When it comes to Angelina Jolie, this is what was said. More than 8 years ago, Angelina filed for divorce from Mr. Pitt. She and the children left all of the properties they had shared with Mr. Pitt, and since that time, she's focused on finding peace and healing for their family.
Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's divorce saga finally ending after 8 years of legal jobs.
Angelina's lawyer, James Simon, said in a statement to Page 6, "This is just one part of a long, ongoing process that started 8 years ago. Frankly, Angelina is exhausted, but she is relieved this one part is over." The former couple met while co-starring in the 2005 movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith. At the time, Brad Pitt was still married to Jennifer Aniston, who ended up divorcing him that same year, and Jolie was a single mother to son Maddox, who she adopted from Cambodia in 2002. In 2005, Brad Pitt accompanied Angelina Jolie to Ethiopia to adopt daughter Zahara. The actor legally adopted both children the following year, a few months before daughter Shiloh was born. In 2007, the pair welcomed son Pax, adopted from Vietnam, to their family. The following year, the actress gave birth to her and Brad Pitt's fraternal twins, Knox and daughter Vivian. They also purchased Chateau Miraval in France and launched Miraval Wines. Brangelina announced their engagement in April 2012 and said "I do" at the multi-million-dollar estate in August 2014. However, in September 2016, shortly after their second wedding anniversary, Angelina filed for divorce. It wasn't until 2022 that details surrounding an infamous private plane incident, which occurred days before Jolie requested to end the marriage, were revealed. During the flight, a now sober Brad Pitt allegedly grabbed the neck of one of the children, struck another in the face, grabbed Angelina Jolie by the head and shook her. He also allegedly poured beer and red wine on Angelina Jolie and the kids. Both the FBI and the DCFS cleared him. Brad has always denied doing anything physical to anybody. A judge declared the duo legally single in April 2019. They spent the next several years negotiating the custody of their brood and divvying up their finances. In May 2021, a judge awarded Brad Pitt joint custody, but the decision was reversed 2 months later after the judge was found to have a conflict of interest. In October of that year, Jolie sold her 50% stake in Miraval Wines, the wine division of the Stoli Group, prompting Brad Pitt to sue her the following February. He accused her of violating their agreement by failing to receive his permission to sell her share and claimed she damaged the reputation of their business. Angelina Jolie filed a countersuit in September 2022.
Hollywood actress Angelina Jolie is throwing massive shade at Hollywood after she announced that she is going to be leaving that place.
This is so hard because I'm such an honest person.
Angelina Jolie is done with Hollywood and is gonna leave for good after she divorces Brad Pitt. If you don't know, Angelina Jolie and her husband Brad Pitt have been going through a divorce for literally 7 years now, and at this point, you could imagine it's been getting pretty messy, hence a long, ongoing, dragged out divorce process.
Angelina Jolie is shedding light on the healing journey she and her family went through following her and Brad Pitt's divorce.
Now Angelina Jolie is opening up a little bit more about the divorce and what's going on behind the scenes, as well as where she's at mentally and emotionally about it.
The Oscar winner and humanitarian touched on their 2016 separation in a new cover story with WSJ magazine.
Angelina went on to say that after her divorce, she lost the ability to live and travel as freely as she did before, and she revealed that she will move as soon as she can.
What's that expression? It's how well you walk through the fire, but you walk through it.
Brad Pitt and Angelina, parents of 6 children, they tied the knot back in 2014 after almost 10 years together. However, their marriage abruptly ended in 2016 when Angelina filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences.
Angelina also reflected on how in the years since her divorce,
Feel everything and then go right through it and get out the other end.
This decision, though, to end their marriage reportedly followed accusations of Brad Pitt physically mistreating Angelina and their eldest child, Maddox, and this happened during a private plane, and this incident took place in September 2016 when Maddox was just 15 years old.
Ironically, as part of the problem, she's part of the reason why Hollywood is such a messed up place.
Angelina is said to have documented the alleged plane incident in legal papers, accusing Brad of both physical and emotional mistreatment. This led to an FBI investigation into Brad Pitt's actions, and he admitted to yelling at his son, but denied causing any physical harm to either Maddox or Angelina. Ultimately, he was cleared of all of the charges. But despite that, it still didn't fix the marriage, and the alleged private plane incident, coupled with their disputes over shared assets and custody, has made Angelina and Brad Pitt's split exceptionally messy and continues to unfold publicly.
I think someone who's bold and maybe a little mad.
In an interview with the Wall Street Journal in December of 2023, Angelina disclosed that once their divorce is completely finalized, she intends to leave Los Angeles. She's gone from Hollywood entirely. She describes Hollywood and its surroundings as shallow, and she expressed a desire to pursue more authenticity in her life.
The Maleficent actress is opening up about her decision to eventually leave Los Angeles.
She just wants to be around more authentic people, authentic environment. So for Angelina, she said that she grew up in Hollywood, so she wasn't really somebody that bought into the whole hype of going to Hollywood one day and buying into the glitz and glamour of it all. Like, she's been there, she's born into it. She would rather spend more of her time now visiting and helping refugees and traveling to other countries and spending time with people who have really gone through tough experiences, like people that are more down to earth and not as fake as she says the people in Hollywood are. Not that people in Hollywood don't really go through tough times either, and there's not any genuine people in Hollywood, but just the whole Hollywood scene, I think, for Angelina has gotten boring for her, and the environment just isn't a place anymore that she feels that she can thrive in.
Get out of your head and be willing to make a fool of yourself.
Despite her desire to leave though, Angelina mentioned that due to the divorce, her ability to travel freely has been restricted over the past few years. And discussing her divorce more closely, Angelina revealed that she and her children have had to go through a healing process after all of this that went down, especially in the past few years. It was really intense for them. And in her own words, this is what she said: "We had to heal. There are things we needed to heal from." And then when speaking about the closeness that she shares with her kids, here's what she added: "They are the closest people to me in my life, and they are my closest friends. We're 7 very different people, which is our strength."
When your children are your best friends, it's kind of it's a nice life.
All right, everybody, there you have it. Angelina Jolie, she is officially done with Hollywood. It's just a matter of time now. But with the way that this divorce is dragging on, who knows when it will ever finish. We may see it finish in a few years. Maybe it's gonna drag on for another 7 years. I don't really know. I don't think that Angelina wants to have it drag out any longer. That's why she's speaking out a little bit more publicly. It's like, let's get the ball rolling, kind of putting the pressure on Brad Pitt a little bit. Hopefully they can come to some type of settlement when it comes to assets and custody. Both of them are phenomenally successful actors. Both of them are extremely rich. So as you could imagine, when you enter a marriage, you know, shared assets and everything, trying to get that divided up and split equally, and especially when you have so many children together, as you could imagine, this is exhausting. I'm sure it's an emotional roller coaster for Brad Pitt as well. But guys, I want to know, what do you think about this in Angelina? Good call for her to get out of Hollywood, just change it up completely, or do you not buy it? I know some people are out there saying that they don't actually buy Angelina's side of the story. Brad Pitt would never mistreat her like that. She's just trying to get money, trying to get her way, trying to have control over the kids. There's some people that think that.
Angelina Jolie was born to be famous, stunning from birth with such unique features that are timeless. I think of her as an old school, aspirational kind of starlet. She is so beautifully unique and a talented actor. She's 49 now, and this is how her look has evolved from 1997. This shot of Angelina dates back to 1997 when she was just 22 years old. Already she is brimming with confidence on the red carpet, no doubt because she grew up under the wing of her famous father, Jon Voight, and had been acting as a child and a teen. She's sporting the short haircut and skinny eyebrows that were super popular in the late 90s, but underneath it all, you can still sense the star quality. Ange is famous for her full lips and almond-shaped eyes, and here we can see that they were always there. Not to mention the charisma that oozes out of this picture. Remember, celebs weren't doing hyaluronic acid lip fillers in the 1990s? The only option was silicone, which I doubt could look this good. This photo was in 1999. At this time, her naturally brunette hair had been lightened to blonde for her breakout role in Girl Interrupted. In 2000, Angelina's look completely changed. To accept her Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, she appeared to be channeling goth icon Morticia Addams. Her blonde hair was transformed to jet black, and she also discovered winged liner. She slayed this look. Although it wasn't as extreme as the previous year, she brought an edgy vibe to the red carpet again in 2001. Her hair was still dyed black, just tied up in a bun, and she prominently displayed a dragon tattoo that said Billy Bob on her upper arm. So remember, this was long before tattoos became mainstream. Pretty cool that she did this. In 2003, she was 28 by this time. She slowly began to move away from goth and towards a more conventional Hollywood look. So she went back to brown hair styled in long waves and with more natural makeup. We can see that underneath the brow pencil, most of her brow hair is actually gone, although it fortunately would grow back within a few years. In 2004, after separating from Billy Bob, Angelina stepped out looking more like a Victoria's Secret bombshell than her former vampire chic. With a lighter hair color, glossy lips, and lined eyes, she is totally stunning. Around this time, people were accusing her of getting a nose job, but if she did, it's so natural that it barely made a difference. In 2005 was when Mr. and Mrs. Smith came out. She was constantly in the tabloids, thanks to a blossoming relationship with her co-star Brad Pitt. With her pouty lips, long lashes, full mane of brunette hair, she looked every inch the Hollywood superstar. In 2007, Angelina continued to turn heads on the red carpet after becoming a mom. She was 31 by this time, and she'd given birth to Shiloh the year before. This high bun and winged liner are classics. Who looks this good after giving birth to twins with 4 other kids in the house? Angelina, that's who. She went back to her darker brunette hair color. She embraced what was quickly becoming her signature look of shaded eyes and pale glossy lips. This was in 2008. In 2010, Angie had bangs, which she didn't decide to keep but looked so great on her. To go with her new look, she lightened her hair again to a softer mid-brown and dialed up the drama with charcoal eyeliner and false lashes. Angelina's 2012 Oscars look was one that we won't soon forget, but not because she surprised us with red lipstick, it's because she kept flaunting her right leg, inspiring countless Photoshop memes that still circulate a decade later. After speculation that the leg thing might negatively affect her career, she kept a low profile for a while. No more red lips, no more gowns with high slits, just understated glamour like she epitomized here. This was perfect with her go-to individual lashes. It's so simple, so pretty, she slayed. If this is 40, sign me up. She is perhaps the most beautiful of all in this stripped back look of natural hair, barely their makeup except for some low-key lashes and eyeliner to extend out her eye shape. Angelina seems more luminous here, and it's probably because 2019 was her year. Not only was her divorce from Brad Pitt finalized, making her officially single again, she also made a professional comeback by reprising her role in the Maleficent series. That brings us to this red carpet appearance, and she seems to be aging in reverse. Let me remind you. She's 46 in these photos, but she could almost pass for a decade younger here. The slightly lighter hair color softens her features, her skin has a real natural glow to it, and notice how much fuller her eyebrows have become, which contributes to the youthful effect. To wrap this up, Angelina has said that she hasn't had any work done at all, and I believe her. She doesn't need it. She's aged gracefully, beautifully, and she continues to do so.
Angelina Jolie is not okay, and there's a lot of signs pointing to it. Fans are really starting to worry about her.
Angelina Jolie has been subject to plenty of speculation throughout her career, not just for her personal life and marriage to Brad Pitt, but also for her appearance.
Well, we all have times in our lives where we feel broken.
For the most part, public fascination with Angelina's appearance hinges on a question that's echoed for years. Why does she look so thin?
While the actor has long been celebrated for her beauty and slender figure, Jolie's drastic weight loss has sparked plenty of concern among fans.
Some fans claim she's always been on the smaller side, pointing to paparazzi shots and red carpet photos from as far back as the late 90s. Others, however, believe her shape took a turn for the worse when life changes, like career demands, started pulling up.
All women could have this at times in their lives. All people could have this when you go. I've had it many times in my life. I did want it.
So things reached a fever pitch around 2018, right when Angelina and Brad's continuous separation was in full swing.
Jolie claimed Pitt was abusive to her and their children during the 2-year marriage.
Publications like Star Magazine threw around alarming phrases like Angie has stopped eating almost entirely, asserting she was down to shockingly low numbers on the scale. An alleged insider declared, "She's so frail, her bones are nearly breaking." Photos circulating online showing the usually poised actress looks especially gaunt at press events appeared to confirm the potential rumors, okay? So back then, fans were deeply concerned, flooding social media with pleas for her to prioritize her well-being. Hollywood Life picked up these claims, fanning the flames of speculation, and observers noted how Angelina, who was known for commanding a room with her charismatic presence, suddenly appeared subdued and overshadowed by her own clothes. She continued to smile on red carpets, though critics pointed out that the skin on her arms and shoulders just didn't look right, okay? So, of course, tabloids being tabloids, they painted the picture in the most sensational way possible. The big question was whether any of it had a kernel of truth. In 2021, Angelina found herself back on the global stage to promote the Marvel film Eternals. While the event was intended to celebrate her own role in a high-budget superhero flick, many fans fixated on her extremely lethal form. Her arms appeared more slender than ever, and her collarbones emotions looked pronounced, leading to renewed whispers of potential concerns. Like, everyone's like, what is going on? Is she okay? Is this what she usually isn't looking like? So it's a bit like, okay, is something different? And Touch magazine ran stories claiming that Angelina's 6 children, Maddox, Pax, Zahara, Shiloh, Vivian, and Knox, were growing increasingly uneasy about her condition. According to the publication, the family had tried encouraging her to adopt a more balanced lifestyle. Whether those claims were based on genuine inside information or simply tabloid chatter is tough to point out, right? Still, the notion of Angelina's kids rallying around her added a sympathetic edge to the narrative. Fans online reacted with supportive messages, hoping that she'd find a path to better well-being. So, rumors about her size, though persistent, haven't always gone uncontested. So over the years, Angelina has attempted to shut down or clarify some of the swirling myths. She famously did so following a tough personal chapter that included her mother's passing. In an interview with Grazia magazine, she attributed her change in appearance to strain. She reminded critics that she just welcomed Shiloh not too long ago before her mother's passing, explaining that her life circumstances were draining her physically. So she's kind of saying like, listen guys, I know I look a bit different, but that's just part of life, so give her a break, come on. Standing at the epicenter of so much speculation can't be easy. Reports indicate that while Angelina acknowledges her figure has changed, she insisted she's comfortable in her own skin. One of the biggest frustrations, sources say, is the crazy amounts of commentary from the public. She has led to moments where she expressed annoyance at having to repeatedly address the subject, feeling that the constant speculation detracts from meaningful aspects of her life, like her humanitarian initiatives and film projects, which obviously deserve all the praise, and people should stop worrying about her appearance as it's not their concern. While Angelina's younger years are riddled with eyebrow-raising anecdotes, some relating to questionable habits and rebellious behavior, one consistent thread has been a willingness to push yourself. She once described her adolescent persona as edgy, the kind of person who wore unconventional outfits and went towards an artistic expression that others found unusual. She was never content with a middle-of-the-road image, which might explain why she's comfortable challenging these traditional standards of how a celebrity should look or act. During her teen and adult years, Angelina's freely admitted that she was going through some dark times. She mentioned on multiple occasions how she tested personal boundaries, took risks, and nearly reached a point where she questioned her own future. But she emerged from that phase with a fierce sense of independence and a drive to mold her life on her own terms. Critics suggest that the same drive could sometimes manifest as a reluctance to adopt certain standard Hollywood approaches that wellness and nutrition is usually pushed. For her part, she said she believes in going beyond one's comfort zone, though that viewpoint has occasionally stoked concerns from fans. Angelina's family background also comes into play. Her father, John Voight, and her mother, Markline Bertrand, have long been part of the narrative that shaped her. Markline passed away in her mid-50s, leaving Angelina with sorrow that she often spoke about publicly. According to many interviews, Angelina felt like her mother was more than a friend and a parental figure. So giving her big love towards her mom, it was definitely hard, and she appreciates the freedom she got as a teen and that the lenient approach may have influenced her to crave this path of hers for the better or worse. Another angle is that her mom faced problems for many years, prompting Angelina to consider possible inherited concerns of her own. She underwent preventative medical procedures in her late 30s and early 40s, openly discussing them as an attempt to protect herself. Some have wondered if the worry over potential illnesses weighed heavily on her physique, further contributing to her reported fluctuations in body composition. Anyone glancing at paparazzi shots can see that Angelina is frequently accompanied by her 6 children, often in tow of airports, on film sets, or humanitarian visits around the world. Balancing that level of parental responsibility with a film career, charitable initiatives, and personal aspirations is not easy. Insiders claim that her day-to-day regime can be intense: homeschooling sessions, major philanthropic visits, interviews, and red carpet appearances, all done in a single week. Like, The stress that comes with is crazy, and the critic says that might be part of why her figure appears so frail. She's said more than once that she's compelled to keep going, that she feels no choice but to push through the hectic schedule. Back in 2007, when asked about rumors that she was unwell, Angelina pointed out that she had just had a baby a year prior. She said her body was recalibrating from childbirth and long nights caring for her infant. Years later, the actress found herself juggling multiple adoptions and expansions to her family, accumulating in the eventual total of 6 children. Each arrival introduced new complexities, more scheduling nightmares, more sleepless nights, and yes, more shifts. For someone who may naturally have a slim build, dropping a few pounds here and there can become visibly dramatic, which made everyone so worried. And in September of last year, Angelina told Vogue she felt she was at a pivot point in her life. Reaching 50 on the horizon, she's re-evaluating her choices, personality, and daily routine. She admitted she yearns for a life less intense of public glare that followed her for over 2 decades. Whether that means focusing more on directing, philanthropic missions, or simply spending downtime with her children, the star remains guarded about the exact roadmap, but fans hope to see her adopt a slower pace and find optimism in the fact that she's recognized a longing for change. To be clear, Angelina's apparently fragile look has been a recurring theme for so long that some argue the tabloids keep rehashing old storylines. They release sensational headlines like "Angie down to 76 pounds" or "Children fear for mom's well-being," partly because these narratives generate clicks. Some supporters feel that the gossip machine largely overlooks the actress's, big help to all these things that are important, and her talent for directing thought-provoking films, and even her compassion on global issues. The conversation often returns to her appearance instead of celebrating her achievements, which many are upset with, which obviously makes sense. Whether Angelina is out exploring foreign cities with her children, filming an intense scene in a new movie, or attending a gala, the camera lenses are never far behind. That constant scrutiny makes it difficult for any star, let alone one so notoriously private, to dispel rumors fully. She's made a career out of selecting roles that challenge expectations, from the rebellious Lisa in Girl, interrupted to the regal Maleficent. Off-screen, her philanthropic missions have taken her to numerous countries, highlighting real-world problems that overshadow personal drama. Fans who appreciate her humanitarian side often resent the laser focus on her size, seeing it as a trivial compared to the bigger things she handles daily. And in truth, the real story might lie somewhere between tabloids' alarmist claims and the more forgiving angle that she's simply a natural slim individual under a lot of stress. Angelina herself has acknowledged hitting rough patches, enduring personal losses, and navigating intense life changes, all which can manifest physically. She's proven that she has resilience, she's raised a large family, directed complex films, and has taken on ambassador roles for global causes. With her 50th birthday on the horizon, there's plenty of anticipation about how she'll approach the next phase of her life. Will she step back from big screen roles to focus on family and humanitarian projects? Will she return back at full force to directing, or maybe pivot entirely and surprise the world? One thing is certain, no matter what path she chooses, a legion of fans and a swarm of people will always be there analyzing every inch in her silhouette and dissecting every offhand comment she makes about lifestyle or wellness. But I think we're all here supporting Angelina, hope she's okay, and all the best.